If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will. Frederick Douglass. During the 2019 to 2020 academic year, UNT celebrates a number of historic anniversaries and firsts. The 65th anniversary of integration at UNT, the 20th anniversary of the Equity and Diversity Conference presented by the Division of Institutional Equity and Diversity, the first Joe Green Residence Hall named for a person of color, and the 25th anniversary of the Multicultural Center's founding. As we celebrate the efforts of student activism in the 1990s leading to the Multicultural Center's creation, we hope current UNT students will be inspired by those who came before them to pursue the programs and resources for the Center's next 25 years. Here is their story.
And at that time, there was no Multicultural Center or a formal office charged with making sure students were connected on campus, supported, and had opportunities to connect with each other, but also receive mentoring, really get some of that social capital. A lot of our students were, first generation college students, had limited experience with what the college life or campus life could be like. So we really wanted to make sure and build something that would help students be successful.
I think the most memorable is what we had to do in order to get the Multicultural Center here. The meetings with the university president and chancellor and university leadership, explaining to them why it was beneficial to have a multicultural center.
And so what we focused on was, at that time at UNT, we did not have any groups that represented us. Faculty was very low. We didn't have a center where we can go get help.
One of the reasons why it was important for us to ask the university, first we requested the data. We wanted to know how many African American students and students of color on campus, how many African American faculty members and faculty members of color were on campus. We wanted to know how many of those faculty members of staff were tenured. That was critically important as well, because we wanted to make sure that we had a large student population, diverse student population, but also that we had faculty and staff who we could look to, who could be our mentors and who could provide us guidance and direction. And that's why we wanted to make sure that there was, a representative number that was on the campus.
The ability to have open dialogue with leadership of UNT, at that time it was Chancellor Hurley, and that bit of experience of being in the boardrooms and understanding what his plight was, and he understanding what our plight was. Of course, we led marches, we had the TV up here, we had students engaged, we had all the associations backing us, all different kind of colors, all fraternities and sororities.
I'm really thankful of those men and women that were students with me at that time, that marched with us, those of all races and colors that marched with us and stood with us and supported us. Those people, I really appreciate them to this day, and those that I can still come across and see at our homecoming and our football games and basketball games. I always let them know that I'm so appreciative of them helping lead us in the right direction to get those things done, being supportive of us, and now come back to a university that just continues to grow and do well, and students that continue to come in here.
It was not something the university just decided, you know what, we want you to have somewhere on campus. We had to march, we had to protest, we had to demonstrate, we had to take some action, and we had to make a strong statement.
I believe that the greatest impact that the Cultural Center had at that time was it was a safe haven for students of color. It was a safe haven for students who were questioning their sexuality, as we did not have a Pride Alliance at that time. And I believe that it was a safe haven for us to be able to build allies across the different genres that life presents us. We were able to address societal changes. We were able to take students on trips across America, basically, to learn about themselves and their culture. We were able to build a wonderful bond with the International Office, which wasn't there at the beginning.
There are many students that have come through the Multicultural Center that have no idea, how did this come about? What was done in order for this to, one, when it came about, it was a closet. You know, now you have this nice facility, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. And this is an opportunity for them to understand we stood up for this purpose. We were able to gain these things for our benefit and now for yours. And now it's up to you to make sure that the benefits that you feel you need to enjoy yourself at your university and feel comfortable and feel that there's equality and fairness throughout this university. This is where it should be able to start, and you should feel comfortable coming here and also seeing the history of what others had to do in order to accomplish the things that they were able to accomplish, because I'm hoping that they accomplish a lot more than what we were able to accomplish now.
You know, again, it wasn't easy, but sticking with it, it was definitely worth it. And you know, as I look around, it was, you know, I can see the fruits of it. So it's an awesome thing. So, and I would say to any other student who is, you know, again, facing challenges, if they feel the need to address those issues with the university, you know, go for it. There are ways to do it. You know, you can reach out to, you know, previous members such as myself to show you the way. But I'd like to think that University of North Texas is, you know, making up for lost time and covering new ground in that area, in that space. So, you know, hopefully we'll keep trucking along.
So I think with the event that happened last November, where a member of the General Council said the N-word, and there was just a lot of controversy around it. It resulted in students kind of organizing a sit-in at the Board of Regents and having, and honestly opening up a really, I guess, tough conversation on campus climate and, you know, how are students of color affected by, you know, the services that either we receive as students of color, or just kind of like how we're treated and kind of the behavior that we get from faculty and staff and maybe even other students. And so it became a really tough conversation to have, but I think those conversations were necessary just to kind of put everything into perspective. This university is largely students of color now and will continue to increase exponentially. So I would hope that we pivot the conversation to making students of color more of a priority.
A couple of years ago, UNT put out the 125 best things that ever happened at UNT, the most impactful events or places or things that have taken place at UNT that have made us everything we are today. And they did a countdown, starting with 125, all the way down to number 1 being the most impactful thing being at UNT. The Multicultural Center was listed as number 2. And to get that notoriety, that awareness, that advertisement, that acknowledgement that out of 125 years of UNT's existence, the Multicultural Center being number 2, we never could have envisioned the impact on the students, on the university, and on the alumni that we have today.
I think one of my major hopes for the Multicultural Center is one that I personally and others that were part of helping get the Multicultural Center here can do more to support the leadership of the Multicultural Center and make sure the student organizations have the resources that they need that should be coming out of the Multicultural Center. I don't want to see them having to go too far to access and to address any concerns that they may have or needs they may have.
I mean, we've had the opportunities for to be the model for some other institutions to follow. And so I would hope that the administration would support continuing being on the forefront of that, such that other institutions like ours will come and see what we have here and what they can do at their own campuses, and that will come as a result of expanding what we have now. If we continue to grow, we can only continue to be better. So while I'm elated about the space, to see it grow even beyond where we are now, is a reasonable and obtainable goal that I hope the university has on its list of things to do.
Because I think that's so important when you talk about inclusiveness and really learning to talk about issues and dealing with issues.
So that really makes me proud to just walk around here and even see a few students hanging out and having access to resources and a space to kind of call their own. This is kind of exactly what we envision. Now, what I also hope is happening is that we are seeing better numbers in terms of recruiting students and retaining them and making sure they graduate. All of this is in vain if we're not seeing those metrics go in a positive direction.
I first of all just want to say thank you. Thank you to the advisors that we had. Thank you to the hidden faculty that we had. Thank you to the students that stood behind us. Thank you to the university for backing us. At that time, it was just an interim multicultural center. And we had one director and a lot of volunteers compared to now when you look at it, it's servicing over 2,000 students a month. You have students working here. So I want to continue the greatness. I want North Texas to be the model. As we focus on growing athletics and as we focus on growing our academic maturity, I think that our multicultural diversity and thought should be right in line with everything that we do.
Very proud of the work that we did because what I see here is what I kind of envisioned, a place where students can go and connect with each other, have a space to work and collaborate, have individuals they can go to for advocacy. You know, when things happen on campus, we had a couple of individuals, but we didn't really have there was no infrastructure in place for that. You just kind of had to deal and accept whatever you got. And this way, students know that they know there's somebody that they can turn to. And then they have that social support from each other and resources that, you know, other larger organizations or students that are involved, you know, mainstream organizations, those things are in place for those students, but that wasn't the case for students of color.
Yeah, as I reflect back on the past 25 years, and we prepare ideally for the next 25, we understand, and it's not lost on myself or the staff, that there are many individuals that paved the path for us, right, to be on campus, to be considered hopefully a prominent space and opportunity, resource for students to engage in currently. The wildest dreams that 25 years ago those alumni had, we hope that that is accomplished times 10 in 25 years from now as well.
I look forward to celebrating the Multicultural Center for many years to come, and I believe that it's a great asset. And so, happy 25th Multicultural Center. We'll have some fun this year.
As the Multicultural Center celebrates its first 25 years, we look ahead to the next 25 years and beyond. UNT's emerging minority-serving institution and Hispanic-serving institution status positions the Multicultural Center as a much-needed resource for serving the students of today and tomorrow. We hope you will be part of our efforts to make UNT a caring community for all its students through the Multicultural Center's programs. History has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own.